there, it's Jane with PositivelyJane.net. Thanks so much for stopping by. I thought I would show you how I use some washi tape for the color and highlighted one stamp set, which is called Spotlight Stamping. I love using washi tape on cards. I think it makes it beautiful, and it's very, very easy to create a colorful card. As you can see, I have the paint box at the top. This one has the pencils at the top, and then I colored them for the highlight spotlight stamping in the middle. And I really enjoyed them, and I hope you'll enjoy them as well. Altenew and Pink Fresh Studios has great washi tape. This is from Altenew. It's an Instant Rainbow. And this is the card that I made ahead of time, and I'm going to show you how I made it. I'm going to make it a little bit different. I apologize for my camera angle. I do not know what happened with my camera today, but so be it. So washi tape is really sticky, it's really fun, and I have so many different washi tapes. So I cut my cardstock down to 4 by 5 1/4. I also have a video on personalization washi tape cards, and I will link it below. The Gina K Crafty Notes is what I'm featuring in these cards. I have the stamp and the die set. I put it on a block. I'm using Hero Arts black dye ink today. So I already kind of figured out the measurements of where I wanted my washi tape to go in the first card. So it's about 2 inches is where my line is going to be, because I need to know where I want to do my spotlight stamping. And the stamp in the upper left-hand corner, I stamped it and did not have a mouse pad underneath, so I added the mouse pad, and look at the difference. Major difference. This is the pad out of my Misty. So I'm just giving it a stamp, holding it just a second just to make sure it all is down there. And then that top left-hand corner, I'm going to use this multi-liner to fill in the lines of where I did not stamp it as crisp as it should be. Very easy, very simple trick. If you don't tell anybody, they will never, ever know. I'm also using the Altenew Crafty Friends because I love these 2 little stars that are in there, and I want to go back and I want to fill in the spaces with the stars. You could use colored ink on this if you wanted to. I decided to keep it all black and white, but I think picking up the red or the blue or the yellow. Now washi tape is kind of see-through, so I'm putting a piece of cardstock on top of where the washi tape's going to go, and then I am cutting it down to size, so this panel will be 4 by 5 1/4. And this is my Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer, and I absolutely adore it. I'm going to grab my washi tape, kind of eyeball it, how much I need, cut off a piece, and then I'm going to lay the top of the washi tape up to where that white cardstock is. And sorry about my head, you just got to really get in there. So I get the top part adhered the way I want it to be adhered. Then I take my bone folder and I give it a little smooth down to make sure they don't get any wrinkles. Now washi tape is very waxy, and I'm bringing that to your attention now because in this video I'll show you how I made a boo-boo and how I fixed it all up. So I'm cutting off the edges and then I'm folding it over so that I have my 4 by 5 1/4 panel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that paint box stamp again, and I'm going to stamp it on cardstock by itself, and I'm going to color it with Copic markers. Now, I am not a Copic marker expert. Sandy Allnock is the expert, and I will definitely link to her. I have put the sentiment on the vellum, and I was showing you that I put the sentiment on vellum. My plan here was to put the sentiment on the actual washi tape, which I did, and then you'll see how it peeled right off. It was crazy. I had to remake the card. There is no fancy coloring here. I just picked some bright colors that kind of match that washi tape. I did a little shading on the paintbrush, and I did a little shading on the palette. And these are just 2 grays. You can pick any care gray. You can pick a warm, a cool. It's really whatever you want to pick, which is best for you. I then grabbed the die and cut this out, and I did not tape it down properly, so it cut it out incorrectly. So I had to redo it and recolor it again. So if you're wondering why the colors are in different places, that is why. So here is my boo-boo. Got to make sure you got those things adhered down, and here is I redid it. I just wanted to show you that it's easy to make a boo-boo. Then I'm taking these foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesive, and I will link those to you, and I believe in using all my fingers, as you can see. And I'm going to be popping up the paint box. Now you can see on the washi tape I have heat embossed with embossing powder, wishing you a colorful birthday. I decided not to use vellum. I'm cutting this down so I can get a little piece on the paintbrush. And I use Brutus Monroe embossing powder, and I use Stampendous white detail embossing powder with my, of course, powder bag before I emboss anything. So I'm peeling off the backs of these here. I'm thinking I'm all finished, and I got a really cute card going on. I'm going to line that up, and it looks really, really great. Now, the card that I previously showed you, the actual card base is made out of colored cardstock. This is how I keep track of my cardstock, and I will link below to the link for this on how I do all of that so that you can actually find your cardstock without digging through all of your cardstock. So I decided to put a little border around my card, and I used the white card base, a top folding card, 5.5 by 4.25. And as I'm doing this right here and I'm laying it all down, I ran my finger along this and I realized that it scraped right off. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it scraped off so easy. So I went back to the vellum that I did in my first card, and I'm lining up my sentiment. This is Ellen Hudson 40-pound vellum, which I love. Lining it up. I'm going to hit it with my embossing bag. I'm going to use Brutus Monroe embossing ink, and then I'm going to use Stampendous white detail powder. And again, I don't know what happened to my camera. But there it is, all embossed, and I know for a fact it is not going to come off of that vellum. I can't believe it came off. But nay, live and learn. See, I wanted you to know not to emboss on washi tape. So I'm using liquid glue to glue this down because I know that it's not going to stick because it's a little bit waxy. And I put a little liquid glue on those pop-up dots because I wasn't sure they were sticky anymore. But in spite of all the boo-boos and mistakes, I think it came out really cute. Here's a comparison. The one on the left has the colored cardstock as the card base, and the one on the right has a little frame with a white card base. So I want to just make one more real quick with you. I'm using that same Gina K Crafty Note stamp set, and I wanted to use the Pencil Me In sentiment, and I love this Alta New washi tape as well. Just one of my favorites. Now again, I will link everything in the blog post, and I will link that in the YouTube description. So I'm kind of eyeballing it again where I want my highlighted stamping to do. That was a brand new stamp, so I always stamp on scrap cardstock to make sure that it's stamping correctly. And I'm trying to figure out where I want my images to be. The focal point is the pencil, but I thought it would look kind of silly having a whole bunch of pencils there. So I thought I would add the little envelope and card as well, since I am making a card. I'm just randomly stamping where I want my stamps to go, which is the beauty about the spotlight stamping, is that you can just put them where you want them to go, and you don't really have to think about it. There's not a whole lot of laying out. So I'm stamped on the Gina K Masking Magic. I love her masking paper, and I stamped it and cut it out, and I peeled it off, and I put it down on the pencil. And I didn't show it to you because my camera was completely out of range. And the beauty about Masking Magic is now I'm stamping that pencil on top, and it's going to look like it's behind the first pencil. And then I'm going to stamp it again and do another one. Reuse that mask as often as you want. Sometimes I keep my masks if I haven't used them, and I keep them in my stamp pocket with my stamp set. And that one's going to look like it's behind that second one. And that is the beauty of masking. It looks like you did a whole lot of work. So I'm putting this washi tape down the same way I did the other washi tape. I also colored 4 pencils, and I cut them out with the matching die. I'm taking those 4 pencils and laying them out on top of the vellum strip, and that is what I have. The blue cardstock behind is Simon Says Stamp Surf Blue. I did not show that to you because, again, the camera issue. There is a little piece of black ink on there, so the Mono Sand eraser is an amazing eraser. It gets rid of all your boo-boos. And here are my 3 cards. I really enjoyed making them. They were very, very quick to make, maybe an hour for all 3, which in card making world is pretty fast. I hope you enjoy them and you give this a try, spotlight stamping and or the washi tape. Thanks so much.